to the show. I'm Jen. Today's guest is Steve Schnall, the Chief Development Officer at Phoenix Children's Hospital Foundation. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You're a legend.
You're a legend.
No.
Two legends all together.
Yeah,
How fun.
imagine that. How lucky for all of you to see two legends at one time. But really, I mean, you have been running, or at least involved, and now, running for a long time, one of the largest nonprofits in the Valley. And so I'm curious how you landed there, and we won't disclose your age.
Oh my gosh.
But you started there a long time ago. Are you one of the longest employees there?
Well, I've been there since Phoenix Children's Hospital opened its doors in 1983. So if that gives you a runway.
Well, fun
there
fact,
it is.
I forgot,
Yes.
I wanted to mention this. Guess where I was born?
Good Sam.
I was born at Children's Hospital. It was called Children's Hospital, I think, at the time. At least my parents told me that.
No.
No? There was never like just a children's hospital in roughly 10 years before that? 83?
83?
74.
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
It was called Crippled Children's Hospital, but I doubt you were born there.
No,
so
it was right in the same location. And I thought they told me it was called Children's Hospital.
No. So before we actually took our, which location? The Good Sam location?
51.
In
No.
Thomas? So
Yeah.
that was called Doctor's Hospital back
That's
then.
it.
There
Sorry,
we go.
that's where I was born.
Children's Hospital,
now that
Doctor's
we've
Hospital,
cleared
they're
all
not
that
even
up.
close.
Okay.
Are you kidding?
Maybe I was just thinking about
Doctor's
Phoenix Children's. So
Hospital, yeah.
Doctor's Hospital.
Yeah.
So is that the site where, okay.
It is, for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So how did you end up there?
Well, I had gone to ASU and
Yep.
graduated from there.
Nice.
Go Devils, right?
Yes.
And then my career aspiration was to be a psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
And I had met some doctors shortly after I graduated, and they were starting a children's psychiatric program. What it then was Good Sam, but would become Phoenix Children's Hospital. So they invited me to come join them.
Wow.
And that's where I started my career.
So I don't know if I interrupted you or, I think I did. Did you say you are one of the longest employees there then?
Gosh,
Since
of
you're
course,
there since,
of course.
Yeah. So then you got into the nonprofit, more in the development, fundraising side of it. How did that kind of go from the psychology side? And
So I quickly got out of a clinical track and was put on an administrative track back when the hospital was very, very young. And if you were ambitious and said yes a lot, you got the opportunity to keep growing and moving up in the organization. So I really say that I was just in the right place at the right time. Of course, the mission is so important to me and everything that Phoenix Children's Hospital stands for, so I was always extraordinarily proud, but I also had a drive to keep growing with the organization. And so I spent the first half of my career from 1983 until 2001 on the hospital administrative track. And so in 1983 was when the hospital started, but in 91, 8 years after it opened its doors, I was asked to join the executive team. And so I spent 10 years as an executive, member of the executive team on the hospital side until 2001. And then the gentleman who was the CEO back then, the hospital was just getting ready to move from 12th Street in McDowell to realizing our vision of having a freestanding campus and children's hospital. And the CEO said, we want you to move from the hospital side and to lead our foundation, our fundraising.
Wow.
And so.
And what was the existence of that at that point? I mean, obviously there were some big capital campaigns, right, to raise
So there
money.
wasn't at the time, but the CEO wanted a big capital campaign. And so the foundation was very small. There was about 15 people at the time. And they were raising about $8 million a year. And it was predominantly events and cause-related marketing efforts. And so over the course of time, we have grown from 15 people to now a team of 75. And last year, we raised a record amount of $83 million for the hospital. So phenomenal growth, but all because the hospital is such a phenomenal place,
Yeah.
and people want to be a part of it, and they're excited and honored.
Absolutely. I mean, it's known throughout the country, and you're part of Children's Miracle Network and just so well revered, and the doctors that you're able to court to the hospital to be a part of it really is at top level. And then the programs and the technology.
Yeah, so in 2011, everything changed for Phoenix Children's Hospital, and we had just come out of a very, very difficult economic time from 2008 to 2011, and the only active crane in the downtown area was constructing the new Children's Hospital tower, that beautiful 11-story beacon of hope that sits right on the 51.
Yep.
And so at that time, though, there was a lot of discussions with the next largest provider of pediatric services in Arizona, and that was St. Joseph's Hospital, Dignity Healthcare. And so a decision was made to consolidate all pediatrics, and essentially for St. Joe's to exit the pediatric market and consolidate everything at Phoenix Children's Hospital.
Wow.
So that all happened this day we turned the lights on in the big tower in 2011, May of 2011. St. Joe's, all their pediatric employees, their doctors and nurses and techs, and great team that they had there, all became employees of Phoenix Children's Hospital. And now we had a consolidated program in town. So now you've got facility, you've got population, well, enough of it to really build out the kind of services, tertiary, quaternary level kind of care. And that became really a pivot point for the hospital to set on a different path to become a world-class children's hospital. Shortly after that, we became recognized by U.S. News and World Report annually. And we are, again, so proud to have received 10 of 10 shields year after year after year, which is really just probably the highest recognition that you can get. So we have national stature and international stature at this point. Very, very aggressive growth and rise to best of class.
And still opening new programs and wings and
growing
research and all of that.
It's the Field of Dreams story. Yes,
my
every
gosh.
time we build it, we just people keep come because the hospital is so beloved. The service and the quality of care is second to none, and we're just so fortunate to have a world-class resource like that right here in Arizona.
What I love seeing is how the community, individuals and businesses want to get involved, want to be a part of it, whatever level they can. I know we've had conversations with different businesses and individuals in town over the years, and everyone wants to give when they're doing a fundraiser that's cause marketing, a third party. I mean, you're aligned with some huge national brands, Dutch Brothers and Dairy Queen and Jersey Mike, just so many mainstream businesses that want to give to the hospital and give back, and that's what helps fund all of those further, growth and programs and doctors and all of that.
We have incredible partnerships with so many of our corporate partners, and to your point, large-scale ones like Walmart and Costco, down to privately owned businesses and everything in between. Because when we talk to these business leaders and we ask them, to go back and talk to people who work for them and say, have you ever been touched by Phoenix Children's Hospital? I mean, the stories just are phenomenal. So whether it's your child or your neighbor's child or
a niece, a nephew, a grandchild, a neighbor.
Everybody's got a story about how Phoenix Children's Hospital has changed their life.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's probably a lot of stories that you've heard and been a part of over the so many years that you're there. Is there one that stands out to you that of a kiddo or a family that was really impactful and special to you?
Here's the way I feel about it. I feel personally so blessed to have spent my career working for this incredible organization and mission and serving this mission. And I say that The day I stop getting a lump in my throat is the day that I should no longer represent this incredible resource.
That's beautifully said.
And I go into that hospital and I look at the kids, I look at a parent, and I feel so connected and so proud that we are part in a very small way of transforming this family's life forever.
And I know that motivates your team as well.
That's why we do what we do.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why we do it.
So then, did you ever think about going into the for-profit world or get out of the nonprofit sector?
I don't think about profit, for-profit,
Well, yeah, but I
nonprofit,
mean,
right? We're
yeah.
in the business to raise money.
That's true, yeah.
right? So we're.
I'd like to do that at my business too.
We're
I'm
a
not
revenue
nonprofit.
center for
Right.
the hospital.
True, yeah.
The hospital has 3 sources of revenue. So it's income from operations, and so the insurance and state access. I mean, that's one source. So the care we provide, and we get reimbursed for it. 2 is debt. And so as we continue to expand in this market and build new facilities and build more hospitals, a primary way that we're going to fund some of that is through debt. And 3, the last one is philanthropy. So it's a 3-legged stool. And so we are vital, and the community support is absolutely vital to continuing to grow, continuing to provide high quality services, and to really build that world-class children's hospital that Arizona deserves.
I love that. And we are running out of time soon. I have one important
I thought you
question
said I
to
had 2
ask
hours.
you. I know. I feel like we could sit and talk about everything with the hospital and the foundation, but I have one other question, last question. If people want to get involved, and I don't mean just like a website or something like that, it can be intimidating to a lot of people to understand how they can give and what they can give. What tip would you give to someone if they're interested in getting involved and don't really know how? I know that's kind of a, somebody wants to give. Where do they begin? Like, what's a good way to start getting involved and supporting financially or volunteering or whatever?
Sure. So I say follow your heart. And so whether it's Phoenix Children's Hospital, and of course we hope it is, but perhaps there is something else that really just makes you feel like I want to do more.
Like what
I want to
resonates for
serve.
them.
Yeah, and what touches your heart. That's why people give, because they're touched in some way. So first and foremost, start with something that you are really passionate about. 2, there are, to your point, so many ways that people can give back, and volunteerism is such a great way. The hospital has over 400 active volunteers. Jeez. There's ways that organizations and businesses volunteer and support the hospital. So you can do it individually, you could do it through your business. And then 3 is, certainly from the foundation perspective, from our perspective, is to support your passion financially. Because every dollar counts at Phoenix Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
we have people who give us $1, and we have people who give us millions of dollars. And everything in between
Goes towards that 83 plus.
counts.
Yeah.
We count it all.
Absolutely. Okay, will you come back and we can talk more
For
about
sure.
the foundation and about the hospital?
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Now with Jen.